chased her all the way to campus and slapped her hard across the face. Every kind of cruel, disgusting word was thrown at her, words no mother should ever say to her daughter. She just stood there silently, head down, yet still breathtakingly beautiful. She was the most beautiful girl in the acting department that year, like a magnolia in full bloom, pure and luminous, but her soul looked like it was withering. I was a sophomore back then, assigned to welcome new students. Normally, I hated getting involved in trouble, but seeing her standing there, helpless and humiliated, I couldn't ignore it, so I pushed through the crowd and forced a smile. Oh, no wonder our new student is so pretty. She takes after her mother. Your daughter's the representative of the freshmen this year. We were actually hoping to interview you about how you raised such an outstanding girl. I dragged her mother away, showering her with fake compliments until she finally left. By the time I went back, the crowd had dispersed and Camilla was gone too. The next time I saw her was in the cafeteria. I figured we at least counted as acquaintances now, but when I greeted her, she was cold as ice. When I mentioned what had happened that day, she just said flatly, "Mind your own business." I thought I'd helped an ungrateful brat, but later my lost meal card showed up on my desk when I forgot to eat. Someone secretly ordered takeout for me. Small, warm things kept happening in my life, things I never connected to Camilla until I caught a fever and took 2 days off classes and saw her message in the student group chat asking where I'd gone. That's when I realized it had been her all along. That was her way of saying thank you. Such a stubborn, awkward person. I learned to look past her cold surface and see the softness hidden in her soul. So I ignored her resistance and made myself part of her life. She was beautiful but deeply insecure. I would go to her acting classes whenever I was free, squatting in the back corner and shouting shamelessly, "Camilla, you're gorgeous! Camilla, you're such a great actress! Are you planning to put everyone else out of work? Camilla, you're amazing!" I wanted that insecure girl to feel a bit of confidence. That was probably when I became famous across campus as Camilla's most loyal S. After we started dating, things were good between us for a long time. But cracks began to form, partly because of Sean. Sean was in the same year as Camilla, and he was her obsessive pursuer. Still, the real problem wasn't Sean, it was her mother. Her mother never liked me. When Camilla was a sophomore, she brought me home to meet her family. The first thing her mother said when she saw me was, "How could my daughter possibly like a broke guy like you? My daughter's so beautiful, she should marry a CEO or a rich heir, become a lady of wealth." But what hurt me most was Camilla's silence. Chapter 03. Once the banquet started, everyone was drinking and laughing noisily. Before long, most of them were already drunk. Their courage grew with the alcohol, and eventually the topic turned to me. "Augustine, you said you're married for real? Hard to believe, man. You used to be crazy about Camilla. Don't tell me you just made that up to save face in front of us. No need for that, bro. We're all friends here," I said calmly. I really did get married. When my mother was in a car accident and urgently needed money for medical treatment, my first love's mother suddenly changed her mind before the wedding, demanding an extra 380,000 yuan in bride price. I was humiliated, begging to get it back. She threw the bank card in my face and said coldly, "Can't your mother wait one more day before dying? Take your filthy money and get lost." Our 4-year relationship ended in complete ruin. Years later, at a friend's wedding, she was now a dazzling, world-famous actress. Our classmates looked at me with mocking eyes. "Augustine used to be Camilla's biggest simp. What, not gonna keep simping now?" They didn't know that after my mother's funeral, I tried to win her back, but she told me to get out of her life. Luckily, I finally moved on. Chapter 1. I really didn't expect the glamorous movie queen herself to show up here. "You're definitely the most successful one among us. You're so popular now, we thought we'd never get a chance to see you again. Aiden's one lucky guy." Today was the wedding of my best friend from school, Aiden. I watched the ceremony seriously, clapping politely from time to time, but I could feel a burning gaze behind me from Camilla. I hadn't expected to see her here. Camilla was no longer the obscure student she once was. Just 3 days ago, she had won her second Best Actress award. Even the most respected veterans said her achievements were only beginning. No one knew she was also my first love, the woman I dated for 4 years. Someone nudged me from the side. "What's so interesting about watching a wedding? You and Camilla were the closest back then. Go say something to her." "Yeah, even exes can stay friends. You're acting like you're avoiding her." "Don't tell me you still have feelings for Camilla. You used to be Camilla's #1 simp. Why'd you stop now?" They all treated me like a joke. Some of them were married, some were successful. They all had something to brag about. Only me, ever since my breakup with Camilla 3 years ago, had vanished from everyone's sight. I waved my hand and let them see the ring on my finger. "Don't joke like that. I'm already married." Camilla's smile froze instantly. "What? You're married? Didn't hear a word about that." Once they knew I was married, they stopped teasing me, but the air grew strangely quiet because Camilla's expression wasn't looking too good. The conversation quickly shifted elsewhere, and I faded back into the background. Only Camilla kept watching me, her gaze impossible to read. Then came the bouquet toss. The flowers arced through the air and landed right in Camilla's hands. She was the bridesmaid today. Everyone burst out laughing, surrounding her playfully. "So, Miss Movie Queen, who are you giving the bouquet to? Gotta be Sean, right? The best actor himself?" Camilla had brought someone with her, Sean, the hottest male star in the industry. However, she didn't respond. Her gaze went straight through the crowd and landed on me in the corner. It made me feel quite awkward. Chapter 02. If you had told me 3 years ago that Camilla and I would end up like this, I never would have believed you. Our story, from the first meeting to falling in love, was a stormy one. I met her on freshman orientation day.
Married. They didn't buy it. Then call your wife. Let's meet her. I hesitated for a moment, then replied, "She's not really available right now." They laughed, their eyes glinting with obvious mockery. Even Camilla's icy face softened a little. She seemed in a slightly better mood. Raising her glass to take a sip, I knew none of them believed me, and the thought left me a bit frustrated. An hour later, I got up to use the restroom. When I came out and turned the corner, I saw Camilla standing at the door. She was leaning against the wall with her arms crossed, holding a bouquet pressed to her chest. She looked like she was waiting for someone. Surely not me. But there were only the two of us there. I nodded to her and walked past. She suddenly stretched out an arm to block my way and pushed the bouquet against my chest. I instinctively caught it, looking at her in confusion. "For you?" I was even more puzzled. Our breakup had been far from peaceful, so I never thought there would come a day when Camilla and I could talk properly again. Everything she did today seemed unusual to me, especially the fact that a big star like her would show up at an ordinary person's wedding banquet. That was strange enough. I was just about to refuse, then Camilla suddenly said, "I thought you'd be the best men today. Aiden and I used to be best friends. If I hadn't been married, I would have been the best men." Camilla continued, "I only came because of you." "Because of me, what?" But before she could finish, another voice cut in. Sean hurried over with a nervous look on his face. When he saw me, he forced a smile. Then he reached out to steady Camilla, who was wobbling a bit. "Camilla, what are you doing here all alone?" "You two talk. I'll get going," I said, seizing the chance to leave. Back at the banquet, a few of the guys were planning to head to Aiden's place later. It had probably go on until midnight. I texted Aiden to let him know I'd be heading out, then left the restaurant. When I got home, my father was sitting in the living room, his face still stern. He'd always liked Camilla, hoping we'd end up together. When we broke up, he'd thrown a huge fit. Before I left for the wedding today, he reminded me over and over that if I saw Camilla there, I had to make up with her. So I dropped a bomb on him. I told him that before coming back to the country, I'd already gotten married abroad. The old man had been waiting for me to return ever since, demanding to know who my wife was. I braced myself. "You've met her, my boss, Robin." His eyes widened in disbelief. I knew it. He absolutely despised the entertainment industry. He'd been against me becoming an agent after graduation. Robin worked in entertainment too, and she was an executive. In his eyes, the industry was a cesspool, and everyone in it was tainted, including me, including Robin, but somehow not Camilla. A true double standard. Before he could start yelling, I quickly called Robin and asked her to help me out. Robin laughed softly over the phone, her voice playful and sweet. "Uncle, I'll be back home in a few days." Just a few words from her, and the old man was grinning ear to ear.
I took the phone back to my room and asked what she'd said. I told him I was the one who insisted on getting the marriage certificate. I said, Augustine is such a great guy, I had to make it official before letting him come home. What if someone else snatched him up? She added, don't be fooled by how grumpy our dad seems. He's actually proud of you. Once he saw how my
Adore his precious son. Of course he forgave me. I couldn't help smiling, warmth spreading through my chest. Before hanging up, Robin whispered, Augustine, I miss you so much. And I missed her too. Chapter 04. Early the next morning, my father asked me, since Robin was also coming back to the country, what would happen to our company overseas. I told him that from now on, we'd be staying in China. It was actually because our overseas talent agency planned to open a branch here. That's why we came back. After returning, I didn't take any time off. I handled a well-known artist's agency dispute and successfully brought him into our company. Today, I was heading to a filming set to discuss future work plans with one of our artists. But when I arrived, I saw a rather famous traffic actress, one of those popular internet idols, bullying an extra on set. She deliberately bumped into the extra and knocked over their lunchbox and walked away without even looking back. The extra stopped her, demanding an apology. The actress rolled her eyes arrogantly. Who saw me bump into you? You extras really think you belong on a set like this. Don't get in the way. All right, I still hadn't kicked my habit of meddling in other people's business. My tone was cool as I said, I saw it. Please apologize. She glared at me. And who are you supposed to be? I told her my name, but she clearly didn't recognize it. She dismissed me as some unimportant staff member, her contempt practically spilling from her eyes. You said you saw it. I say you're slandering me. Then what now? I've got it on camera. A woman's voice came from behind me. I froze for a moment and turned around. It was Camila. That's when I realized she was the leading actress in this drama. The other actress, who only played the third female lead, didn't dare to offend her and quickly muttered an apology before scurrying off. I looked at Camila, unsure what to say, but she gave me a small smile. That smile suddenly reminded me of something very similar that had happened before. Chapter 05. Back in her junior year of college, Camila had already started auditioning across different film crews, landing small extra roles here and there. Once she was bullied by a big-name celebrity on set. That day, I happened to witness the whole thing. She cried, her face full of helplessness and humiliation. I told her, Camila Ma, one day you'll become the best, the most popular actress. You'll win trophies, become a queen of film, and no one will ever bully you again. She looked up at me through her tears and said, then you'll be my agent when I become a film queen. Now, she really was a film queen, but things and people had changed. Camila asked what I was doing there. I said, I came to see someone, and told her my artist's name. My artist had gone to touch up his makeup, so Camila led me to sit down somewhere. She sat right beside me, her gaze burning into me. If it had been the old days, my heart would have been racing under that look. But now I felt only calm. I just didn't understand what she was trying to do. I wasn't blind. I could clearly see the restrained yet turbulent emotion in her eyes. But wasn't she with Sean now? Otherwise, why would she have brought him to the wedding? I coughed awkwardly. Where's Sean? She said coldly. What's he got to do with—
Augustine, I hate you. I took the money and rushed to the hospital, but my mother's injuries were too severe. She didn't make it. I lost my mother, and I lost Kama. After the funeral, I tried to get her back. I didn't blame her. I knew what she'd said that day was just anger, born out of fear that we wouldn't have a future. But this time, nothing I said could reach her. She held Sean's hand and said coldly, my mom was right. You're just a broke nobody. What happiness could I possibly have with you? Sean loves me, and he's rich. Why should I choose you instead of him? At that moment, I was completely lost. After my mother's funeral, it felt like half my soul had been drained away. Her words left me numb and hollow, like a pile of ashes. She ignored my pain and compared me to another man right in front of me. And suddenly, I realized her mother was right. She did deserve someone better. And me? I'd only ever bring her suffering. So, I let her go. That was the end of us. But Sean didn't stop there. He used his family's power to blacklist me in the industry. I couldn't find work, and debt kept piling up. At my lowest point, after being kicked out by yet another company, I sat on the ground, unable to get back up. That's when Robin appeared in my life.
She squatted down in front of me, snatched my resume from my hands, and said, "Damn, you made a classmate famous back in sophomore year with your insane marketing strategy. You're a genius." I looked up at her. Robin rubbed her chin, clearly plotting something. "You want to get rich? You want to make it to the top? Then come with me." And just like that, she tricked me into going abroad, and I became an agent at her company. Chapter 07. Robin treated me really well. When I went abroad, I had accidentally brought along all of my mother's hospital reports and medical receipts. Robin saw them and thought they were mine. At that time, I was emaciated, hollow-eyed, and lifeless. I had left the country without the slightest attachment or hesitation. She believed I was a dying man, so she treated me with endless gentleness and patience. I remember that period clearly, the way she always looked at me with pity and tenderness, how she never gave me too much work, yet still doubled my salary. Thinking of that now, I couldn't help but feel a faint warmth spread through my chest. "My wife," I said softly, "is a truly good person." Camilla covered her eyes, tears streaming down her face. "So we really don't have a second chance? When we broke up, I didn't mean the things I said. I was just so angry. Angry that you gave up on our future. Later, I went looking for you, but your father didn't know where you'd gone." I didn't answer her. At that moment, my phone rang. I picked up and spoke in a low voice. "Robin?" Her bright, playful voice came through the receiver. "Where are you? Why do you want to know?" She made a small huff. "Can't I ask?" I could hear the barely contained excitement in her tone and immediately knew she was up to something. I told her where I was. She let out a cheerful "oh," then laughed as she asked before hanging up, "You'll stay there for a bit, right?" That confirmed it. She was back. She wanted to surprise me, but could never quite hide it. After hanging up, I looked back at Camilla, who was still staring at me in anguish, and in her eyes, I saw the reflection of myself, smiling, gentle, full of affection. For a moment I froze, then said quietly, "Camma, start over, but don't look back."